Time for the Wells Report front page. This for Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. Former President Donald Trump will turn himself into Georgia authorities on Thursday. He plans to turn himself in the early afternoon at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta on charges of trying to overturn the 2020 election. The date was set as part of the terms negotiated over his consent bond and release conditions. His bond, by the way, $200,000. President Trump confirmed on Monday on Truth Social that he's planning to go to Atlanta Thursday to face law enforcement officials. In the post, he accused Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and Department of Justice officials of seeking to target his 2024 re-election campaign without evidence. USA Today is reporting that a majority of Iowa GOP caucus goers believe that former President Trump won the 2020 election. A majority of voters likely to attend the Iowa Republican caucuses believe that former President Donald Trump won the 2020 presidential election over President Joe Biden. This according to a new Des Moines Register NBC News Mediacom Iowa Poll. It's copyrighted, by the way. Ask whether you believe or not Donald Trump's claim that he won the 2020 presidential election. 51% of likely Republican caucus goers say they believe them. 41% do not. 8% are unsure. Among self-identified Republicans, factoring out independents, Democrats, and members of other parties who say they plan to caucus with the GOP, the portion who believe Trump's claims is even higher, 60%. 33% do not believe so. The GOP primary debate is set. 8 candidates. President Trump will not be there. The Republican National Committee formally announced that 8 GOP candidates will take the debate stage tomorrow night, though the list does not include the current GOP frontrunner, Donald Trump. USA Today reports that Trump's refusal to debate leaves others to argue among themselves. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former Vice President Mike Pence, businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. The debate will take place in Milwaukee at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. The GOP primary debate in that Donald Trump holds a huge lead, but DeSantis is closing the gap. This from USA Today. Donald Trump holds a commanding lead over the rest of the 2024 Republican presidential field in Iowa, and a more than 2-to-1 lead over his closest rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, with about 5 months to caucus day. This according to that Des Moines Register NBC News Mediacom Iowa poll. The poll of Iowa's likely Republican caucus goers comes as the former president grapples with the fallout of a 4th criminal indictment, and a pack of other top contenders prepare to gather for a high-stakes GOP presidential debate in Milwaukee tomorrow night. Among caucus goers, 42% say they plan to support Donald Trump, a lead of 23 percentage points over Ron DeSantis, who is at 19%. U.S. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina follows in third place with 9%. President Biden traveled to Maui, Hawaii. USA Today reports that he was there to see firsthand damage and loss of life after the Lahaina wildfires. After getting an aerial tour of the damage and walking through parts of Lahaina where few buildings remain, President Biden praised the courage of residents of Hawaii and says he knows that hollow feeling you have in your chest, like you're being sucked into a black hole wondering, will I ever get by this? He went on to say, Jill and I are here to grieve with you, but also want you to know the entire country is here for you. President Biden said later, wearing a green and yellow lei at an event with families and community members impacted by the fires. We're going to get it done for you, but get it done the way you want it to be done. Fox News reports the president's latest gaffe, discussing Maui's hot ground. Biden arrived in Hawaii yesterday to give remarks on the aftermath of the devastating wildfires that have taken the lives of over 110 people. Prior to the speech, he met and shook hands with a group of officials stopping in front of a search and rescue dog. While petting the dog, he joked about the boots that the canine was wearing. The president said, quote, you guys catch the boots out here? Unquote. He then said, that's some hot ground, man. The reference to how hot the ground was following deadly wildfires seemed appropriate to many social media users who saw the clip. Hunter Biden still in the news. Oversight Chairman hammers the Hunter Biden defense team for a threat to call President Biden as a witness. Representative James Comer, the Republican from Kentucky, criticized Hunter Biden's attorneys on Monday for threatening the Department of Justice that they would call Joe Biden as a witness if prosecutors charged the president's son. Comer, chair of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, was reacting to a Politico report over the weekend that attorney Chris Clark, who was working for Hunter Biden, sent a 32-page letter last fall to the DOJ threatening to call President Biden as a fact witness if they decide to charge the younger Biden. Comer, as well as Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, described the action as a threat. Newsmax reports that Representative Byron Donalds, the Republican from Florida, told them on yesterday, that if the mainstream media would report on the facts regarding alleged corruption involving the Biden family without editorializing it, it would expose the American public about the dishonesty of President Joe Biden. Appearing on American Agenda, Donalds was played a clip of CNN's Jake Tapper saying that former President Donald Trump was right when he brought up during a 2020 presidential debate with Biden and Biden's son's Hunter, that Biden's son's Hunter, received $3.5 million from Russian billionaire Yelena Baturina, the widow of a former Moscow mayor. Joe Biden denied the accusation, but evidence uncovered by the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, which Donald serves, shows that President Trump was correct. By the way, speaking of the oversight chairman and the committee, they've issued a subpoena for DHS Secretary Mayorkas. House Republicans yesterday subpoenaed Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, seeking information about a program that allows the citizens of Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to enter the U.S. on a temporary basis. The House Homeland Security Committee in April sought a suite of documents on the, quote, CHNV parole program, unquote, including all communications about its establishment and a breakdown of data related to the applicants. In seeking information about the program, the committee in April cast it as an effort that assists large swaths of illegal aliens into the interior of the United States. DHS has repeatedly reached far beyond its congressionally authorized statutory authority to choose the group it prefers to grant entry into the U.S. In states news this morning, out of Virginia, Governor Youngkin fired back at a school district he said was defying state law. Prince William County Public Schools released a statement last week saying it would stick with an older policy that addresses the rights of transgender and gender nonconforming students because it is consistent with both federal and state anti-discrimination laws. The VDOE's 2020 model policies for school districts allowed transgender students to use bathrooms in school facilities that matched their gender identity, as well as required teachers to use students' preferred gender pronouns, according to the Washington Post. Quote, "The law is very clear that I issue model policies and local school districts have to adopt policies consistent with those model policies. And I would add to the fact that this is common sense," said Governor Youngkin on the Monday edition of The Story. Quote, "We are very forwardly saying that first, parents are in charge of their children's lives. The kids do not belong to the state. They belong to parents and to families, and they have the ultimate say in decisions that the child is going to make with a parent, not with a bureaucrat." Out of Texas this morning, the Austin, Texas chief of police abruptly retired from his post yesterday in the wake of major staffing shortages, the absence of a police union contract, and years of issues with the city council and mayors. Austin Police Department Chief Joe Chacon announced his retirement with a heavy heart yesterday in a post on X, formerly Twitter, saying that he came to the decision after a lot of thought. Quote, "This is one of the hardest messages I've ever had to write. A few months ago, I began seriously considering retirement, and after long conversations with my wife and family and thoughtful prayer, I've now made the decision that the moment is right to hang it up on a 25-year career with the Austin Police Department." Out of California, CBS News reports the Archdiocese of San Francisco is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the wake of numerous claims of child sexual abuse allegedly committed by priests. This was announced yesterday. Quote, "Today I'm informing you that after much reflection, prayer, and consultation with our financial and legal advisors, the Archdiocese of San Francisco filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization. This from Catholic Archbishop of San Francisco, Reverend Salvatore J. Cordileone. He said in a letter posted yesterday, on the Archdiocese website. The bankruptcy reorganization stems in large part from more than 500 civil lawsuits filed against the Archdiocese under State Law AB 218, which allows individuals to bring claims for childhood sexual abuse that otherwise would have been barred due to the expiration of the statute of limitations. Health news today. There are new COVID there are new COVID variants out there, EG.5, FL.1.5.1, and BA.2.86. They're out there and they're spreading. Health authorities say they're closely tracking the spread of 3 new COVID-19 variants now spreading around the country. Levels of COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths, for now, remain far below previous peaks seen during the past summer and winter waves of the virus, but have been climbing steadily for several weeks. Public health officials say that they are well equipped for the latest seasonal uptick in the virus, with COVID-19 tests and forthcoming vaccines expected to work for the variants on the rise around the country. But the appearance of a new, highly mutated variant has raised questions among virus trackers about what the coming months could hold. Public Supermarkets has decided that you can come in and get the groceries that you need, but you have to leave your dog, your pet, and your support animals behind. This from USA Today. Publix is a place for produce, buy one, get one prices, and its selection of sandwiches known as pub subs. The famed chain of Florida supermarkets are places where all are welcome, but pets, not so much. Customers are starting to notice large signs placed at the front of Publix grocery stores throughout Florida reminding shoppers that only service animals are allowed in the store, not personal pets, not even emotional support animals. The difference between service animals and emotional support animals is a distinct one, as the sign on the door explains in detail. Quote, under federal law, service animals are dogs or miniature horses trained to perform tasks for people with disabilities. Non-service animals are not allowed in grocery stores, according to the FDA. Dogs, pets, and other animals whose sole function is to provide comfort, companionship, or emotional support do not qualify as service animals and are not permitted in public stores, even with a doctor's note. That's the front page on the Wells Report, this for Tuesday, the 22nd day of August.